Everyone may be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Quinn Hall, and I have been lucky enough to represent the Bexley class of 2022 as Student Council President for the 2021-2022 school year. Welcome to the 100th Bexley High School Commencement Ceremony. I would like to begin by welcoming Principal Ms. Kristen Robbins, Assistant Principal Mr. Craig McMillan, Assistant Principal at Eastland Fairfield Career Center, Holly Griffin, Board of Education Vice President Alyssa Mitchell, Board of Education members Dr. Jonathan Baker and Joanne Pickrell, State Representative Kristen Boggs, City of Bexley Mayor Ben Kessler, friends, family, alumni, community members, teachers, and fellow members of the class of 2022. Before we begin, there are some big thank yous to extend. The class of 2022 would like to thank the Bexley Education Foundation for the wonderful 100th graduating class banner and for welcoming us into the alumni family today. We would also like to thank these generous sponsors for lining Main Street with our senior banners: Ohio State Bank, Bexley Community Foundation, the City of Bexley, and a special shout out to Miss Eleanor Brandt for her hard work on the Main Street banners and senior sports banners. I now ask that everyone stand and face the flag as we honor America in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for the first speech of the day, I would like to welcome Principal Robbins to the lectern to deliver remarks on behalf of Superintendent Fine and read the proclamation from Governor DeWine.
Thank you so much, Quinn. What a gorgeous day to celebrate the class of 2022, the 100th graduating class from Bexley High School. First, a message from Dr. Jason Fine, who's not able to be here today. Congratulations, class of 2022. Although I cannot be with you here today because my daughter's graduation ceremony is happening right now, know that I am cheering you on. I am confident that this class will continue to embody what it means to be a champion. So many of you have demonstrated the essence of what it means to be a champion, your own success, to cheer on those around you and to understand that growth is good for everyone and life is not a race. The reality is we can all grow at our own pace, succeed at our own goals and achieve our own dreams while cheering each other on in the process. Positivity is powerful and you will change the world around you by being a champion. Congratulations, graduates, and go Lions. Additionally, Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted proclaimed the following: in the name and by the authority of the state of Ohio, whereas Bexley High School is celebrating its 100th commencement, and whereas before construction of Bexley High School in 1921, students in the area attended East High School, and whereas Bexley High School outgrew its original building, which is now Montrose Elementary, and moved to its current building in 1932. And whereas the first high school housed students in grades 7 through 12 and averaged between 20 to 40 students per graduating class. And whereas in contrast, the Bexley High School class of 2022 has 180 students. And whereas Bexley High School has a reputation for academic excellence going back to the 1920s, when the Torch yearbook, the original version of today's Bexley-O, noted that of the 20 seniors, most were headed to college. And whereas today Bexley High School is ranked #1 in Columbus, 4th in the state, 184th in the nation, according to the 2022 U.S. News and World Report National High School Rankings. And whereas to honor the class of 2022, Kyle Peterson, the former executive director of the Walton Family Foundation and a Bexley graduate, will give the keynote address at commencement. And whereas today we celebrate the many accomplishments of the class of 2022. And now, therefore, we, Mike DeWine and John Husted, Governor and Lieutenant Governor of the state of Ohio, do hereby celebrate the 100th graduating class of Bexley High School. And now I'd like to invite Quinn back up to the podium.
Thank you, Ms. Robbins, for your remarks and for serving the class of 2022 these past 4 years. I would now like to introduce State Representative Kristen Boggs.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations, class of 2022. I am State Representative Kristen Boggs, and I am honored to be here today to present a proclamation from the Ohio House of Representatives honoring the 100th class of Bexley. Congratulations to each and every one of you and to your families as well. It has been my honor and my privilege to be able to represent all of you in Ohio State House, and not only because of the academic success that you have shown throughout the years and sometimes the athletic success that you have shown, but truly because I have seen so many of your faces down at the State House being advocates for issues that you believe in, for causes that you think will take the direction of the state in a better way. And I want to thank you for your work, for your advocacy, and certainly to wish you the best of luck on what I know are your very bright futures ahead of you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Representative Boggs, for your inspiring remarks. I would now like to introduce Mayor Ben Kessler for his recognition of the 100th graduating class from Bexley High School.
Good morning, class of 2022. I'm so proud of what you all have accomplished. I came here this morning to read a proclamation honoring you as the 100th graduating class of the city of Bexley, Bexley City Schools. But I think the proclamations before have covered the main points. If we look back over the past 100 years, Bexley graduates have been authors and scientists and musicians and actors and doctors and lawyers and foundation directors. What I'm most excited about is what you, the class of 2022, will add to that roster. So go on and take on the world. I'm so excited to see what you do. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Thank you, Mayor Kessler. I would now like to introduce a classmate of mine. I remember when this student joined the Bexley community in Miss Rezick's 5th grade class. Ever since then, I have had the pleasure, along with all of my classmates, of witnessing this student blossom into the force of intellectual might they are today. They bring knowledge and insightfulness to every classroom they are a part of. They are also an incredible singer and one of vocal ensemble's most vital members. I know this person will be successful wherever they go, and I wish them good luck at Boston University next year. Now, everyone join me in a big round of applause as we welcome Roshan Sivaraman to the lectern.
Good morning. How are we doing today? It's Sunday, May 29th. The moon is a rising something in Capricorn, maybe. I would tell you the weather today, but unfortunately I wrote this in April and I'm not that good a forecaster. Well, regardless of the weather and the phase of the moon, I can tell you it's a beautiful day to graduate high school. These 4 years sure have gone by quick, haven't they? It's hard to think about how much we've changed over the years. There was a 2-year period somewhere in there where everything kind of faded into nothingness, where everything was the same. I don't remember exactly what happened, but boy, was it weird. Here was my schedule. Eat, do Zoom classes, eat, do homework, sleep. Can you believe that the day we left, we all packed the contents of our lockers, textbooks, coats, homework into giant trash bags? Not backpacks, trash bags. There was a feeling of confused excitement and uncertainty in the air that day. But now that we've come back, each and every one of us an entirely different person, I don't know that any of us would ever want to go back to that day. We took it for granted when we had it. That's why it's so hard to leave now. In those 2 years, perhaps the hardest thing was the lack of a sense of belonging. I think this is something that teenagers from every generation deal with, but we felt it tenfold. We were unmoored without the grounding influence of 7 class periods per day. I remember when we went to hybrid, friendships were made and dissolved over something as simple as what letter your last name started with. We left a lot behind when things shut down, but we have had, despite it all, a chance to return. I once heard Bexley described derisively as a sea turtle community. I asked, what does that mean? I was told, I don't know if you know this, sea turtles lay their eggs on beaches and leave them unattended to find their own way forward. But even after decades of living alone in the open ocean, a sea turtle will always know to return to that safe strip of beach where its life began. It was meant as an insult to characterize Bexley as sheltered and coddled. And whether Bexley is actually like that is up for debate. Not all of us began our lives here, and not all of us will return to start our own families years down the line. And not all of us have always felt that Bexley was that safe strip of beach to return to. But during 2 weird years, we learned about the world in a very different way. Not just through lockdown hobbies like baking sourdough or crocheting, both of which I did. All the ugliness, death, and violence in the world was amplified, thrown into sharp focus. I remember my dad coming home from a long day of treating COVID patients. I remember going to the Kroger on Main Street and seeing empty shelves and tired workers. I remember last summer when people from more privileged backgrounds woke up to the realities of racism. We live in Bexley. We weren't used to the world being this hostile. But there was also tremendous kindness and joy. They seem to be saying this at every graduation, but I really do mean it. Our generation is the most connected generation of all time, and our connection is our greatest strength. Through those 2 years, we learned what it meant to belong to a community bigger than where we were born. But now we have returned from that open ocean to the place we once took for granted. We've seen in stark relief the problems of our community, our nation, and our world, and we must now move on. It's jarring. How do we reconcile that? I think it's an opportunity to make Bexley and the world a better place and to take what we have learned and use it for good. In some ways, we already have. For example, Bexley is a much better place to make a community as a person of color than it used to be, even a few years ago, because people listen and learn. We have celebrated Hispanic, Black, and Asian American Heritage Months all year, thanks to our lovely cafeteria workers and student groups. Many people here, myself included, helped form those student groups to give minority students a community here. And in the face of policies that threaten to divide us, Bexley students have come together to support our most vulnerable. Bexley has not always been a place where anyone can belong, but I am so proud to say that it is today. As the class of 2022, it may seem like our work here is done, but it's only just begun. There are people in our community, young and old, who watch and learn from us and will continue to do so even after we leave. There are still those in our community with antiquated values towards people who don't look or act like them, and communities just like ours across the country that remain tormented by violence and grief. Now that we've returned from that open ocean, let's use what we've learned to make our home a better, more welcoming place to live for ourselves, our peers, even our children. Let's build a better Bexley together.
And now I am proud to reintroduce a classmate of mine who has led the class of 2022 with grace, whose integrity and intellect speak for themselves. As class president, he has been a welcoming and encouraging figure to everyone who knows him. While I know he's talented on the soccer field, I have seen his true brilliance in the classroom. I know he's going to do fantastic things at Dartmouth next year. I'm so excited to welcome my classmate, Quinn Hall, back to the lectern.
Thank you, Roshan, for your inspiring remarks and kind words. Today is a very special day for all of us. We all gather here today to celebrate the achievements of 180 young people who are now entering a new stage of life. It's been a long road to get to this moment, and I speak for my classmates when I say that without the support of our amazing teachers, family, and friends, we could not have made it this far. This class, the class of 2022, will be the 100th graduating class from Bexley High School. It's crazy to think that 100 years of anxious and hormonal teenagers have passed through the walls that stand before us. Like us, the classes of the past made great friendships, stressed about assignments and tests, and dealt with their fair share of high school drama. But our forebears lived in a very different world. The first graduating class from Bexley High School, the class of 1922, had witnessed a world war kill millions and permanently alter the fabric of society. When they graduated, they weren't sure what the future held for them. The generations after them experienced the Great Depression, another world war, war in Vietnam, the civil rights movement. I could go on. Through the changing world of the past 100 years, only one thing has remained constant: uncertainty. Every generation that has come before us has been faced with the changing world, and with it, uncertainty. I think it's clear to all of us that we live in very uncertain times. Over the past 2 years, we have witnessed how something we can't see with the naked eye can completely alter how we live and interact with others. We've also witnessed rising political division and extremism and signs of our changing climate. All of our challenges may seem daunting, and in some moments we may seem helpless, seem like we as individuals can do nothing. But we, just like our forebears, are uniquely placed to meet this uncertainty. We have been lucky enough to have a Bexley education. Bexley is often praised for its academic prowess. When I leave our community and tell people I go to Bexley, my words are often followed by a comment about how good of a school district Bexley is. But what does this really mean? Yes, it's true that Bexley students take many AP classes and do well in standardized tests, but in the grand scheme of things, this isn't what matters most. What truly matters, and what I believe to be the most important feature of a Bexley education, is a love for learning. Our teachers have taught us to be curious, seek out new knowledge, and above all, love learning. We have learned that a true education is not a diploma, but rather a commitment to the constant pursuit of knowledge. With all of this said, I'm not naive in thinking that every student has greeted their Bexley experience with the same curiosity that some students have. Everyone has had their own unique learning experience. Some of us fell in love with learning on the first day of kindergarten and have greeted every day since with the same passion, while others have experienced small, fleeting moments of curiosity. But wherever you lie in the spectrum, I can guarantee that each and every one of you has had at least one moment when you felt completely immersed in your learning. And when you look back on your time at Bexley, you won't remember what grades you got or what you got in the ACT. You will remember these moments. You will remember an interesting conversation you had with someone you rarely spoke to on a topic that was new to you. You will remember the time when a lesson in class led you down a rabbit hole of curiosity. This spark, the spark of learning, should follow us throughout our lives. In our lives, we will find different careers, find different friendships, and find different love. But wherever our life takes us, we mustn't forget to be curious. Pick up a book, travel, meet new people, fully experience life, and let your curiosity run wild. For only when we devote ourselves to the constant and lifelong pursuit of knowledge will we be able to meet the great uncertainty that approaches us and lead our community, country, and world into the next 100 years. And because any graduation speech isn't complete without a quote, I hope my fellow graduates remember the words of a personal hero of mine, Malcolm X. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Thank you. Bexley High School is proud to welcome back one of its most outstanding graduates to provide the keynote address for the 100th graduating class. Kyle Peterson, a graduate of the class of 1983, is the former executive director of the Walton Family Foundation. The foundation, established by Sam and Helen Walton, donated $2.3 billion to children's education and environmental initiatives between 2014 and 2018. Prior to joining the Walton Foundation, Peterson built and led the Foundation Strategy Group, also known as FSG, serving for 14 years as an advisor to philanthropists around the world. Prior to starting FSG, Peterson focused on social change and launching novel health programs throughout the private sector in several African countries. Peterson has a BA in International Studies from American University, an MBA from the McCombs School of Business at the University of Texas, and an MPA from the LBJ School of Public Affairs, also at the University of Texas. As the co-founder and managing partner at Boldly Go Philanthropy, he is currently leading a team that provides customized strategies to individuals, families, corporate givers, wealth advisors, and community foundations to achieve their philanthropic goals. It is now with great pleasure that I welcome Kyle Peterson to the lectern.
Wow. Quinn, thanks so much. Roshan, thanks so much. Principal Robbins, teachers who are here today, almost graduates of 2022. It's great to be back in the center of the universe with you today. My mom knew that 45 years ago that this was the center of the universe precisely because of the star power of Bexley High School. Back then, we thought it was the best high school in the world. It's only gotten better. And how lucky you are to be among the very best of 24,000 public high schools in the country. Let's give yourselves, Principal Kristen Robbins, and all the teachers a round of applause for making this school among the very best in the country. So I say good morning to all the almost graduates of 2022. I was thinking about what it must have been like 100 years ago as the first class sat in seats like yours and graduated. It must have been so different. There was no Twitter or TikTok. There was no electric cars or iPads. There was no Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, not even Rubino's. I had that 40 years ago. But in one big way, it was very, very much the same. If there's ever been a class that's more intertwined with that first class that graduated, it's yours. 100 years ago, your fellow classmates lived through the shadow of a horrific pandemic, the pandemic of 1918. That pandemic formed their character and propelled them to greatness, helping to lead this country through the Great Depression and World War II. You've all lived through another world-changing epidemic during the last 2 years. You've been tested by more public and private crises than I ever experienced 40 years ago. So today, distinguished students, we honor you, your parents, and everyone who brought you here. And we ask at this moment, what is your path to greatness? So if you do the math, you all have about 3,780 weeks of life available. To me, that sounds like an immense amount of time, but it sounds kind of short, doesn't it? Amazingly short. Making most of the time you have left is what the ancient Stoics called memento mori, or the reflection on our own short mortality. And it's what guided me in thinking about 3 pieces of advice that I want to share with you today on your path to greatness. So the first, touch the world. The smartest thing I ever did in my life was going to the Peace Corps, joining the Peace Corps, going to Sierra Leone, West Africa. I met my wonderful wife, formed my deepest friendships, and conquered tons of fears. Fear of being alone, fear of being hungry, fear of having malaria, fear of seeing snakes and columns of ants in the middle of the night. But I turned all those fears into a great love of the African continent, and went on to live and work in places like Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mauritius, and other places. So in all the 85 countries that I've been very, very fortunate to visit, I discovered that there's no better education than actually experiencing how other people live. You develop street smarts that you just can't replicate in a job or through college. And you gain a deep appreciation for this country with all its challenges and warts. So I say to you, get out there, okay? Get out there. For as Mark Twain said, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. And many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of people and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all at one time. Advice number 2, solve problems. This last week, we witnessed a horrific, tragic massacre in Uvalde, Texas. We need your help. We need your help to reduce gun violence. We need your help to mitigate climate change, confront racism, prevent new pandemics, rebuild our democracy, avert future wars, improve our schools, restore a sense of civic virtue. The list goes on, and we desperately need you. And I look out at all of you and know that you are so much better equipped than I was to solve these problems at your age. In addition to being battle tested, you've been battle tested over the last few years. You have amazing advantages, unbelievable technology, the greatest wealth the world has ever seen, and a greater awareness and consciousness of the problems around you. But even with all those assets, solving problems is tough. It's really, really hard. And this isn't about merely joining a group, giving money to a cause, or even starting your own nonprofit. I've had the great fortune of writing grants for hundreds of millions of dollars and watched many new nonprofits be born. Most often, those moves actually don't change someone's life or place. Today, I'm asking you to go beyond. Go beyond being passive or just getting involved. Raise your own stakes to make real change happen. Be hyper curious about why do we carry forward these deeply rooted problems. Be patient and dig deep. It doesn't matter if you're helping one person or you're helping thousands. Personally, I've seen the horror of another epidemic, HIV/AIDS, wipe out millions of people in Southern and Eastern Africa. In a strange way, I was fortunate to be on the ground during that time and delivered programs that helped to save tens of thousands of lives. I carry forward that confidence in solving problems. And that has changed my life forever. The third piece of advice, this one might be a little strange to hear, and that is embrace regrets. Embrace regrets. All of us owe another alum, Dan Pink, immensely for his recent book, which all of you should buy. It's called The Power of Regret, How Looking Backward Moves Us Forward. Danny, as that's how we knew Danny back in the day, he's a 1982 alum of Bexley High School, and he's the former editor of The Torch. Anybody here from The Torch? All right. And you know, The Torch was a paradise for us back then, for anybody who loved to write. Peg Zidonis, who I actually saw last night, you probably have heard of Peg Zidonis. She was an amazing, amazing advisor to The Torch. She ran our paper with just tough love. And we're at The Torch where I met my best friends here at Bexley High School, including someone who died last year, Matt Marks, who was an amazing sports writer. As Danny shares in his book, all of you will experience regret in your life. I guarantee it. This could be regret in not putting in enough effort. This could be regret in not taking a chance, not taking a risk. regret in not reaching out to somebody who was sick or down, or regret in not taking the moral high ground, taking a shortcut. Danny surveyed 16,000 people in 105 countries to understand regret. And his big aha, his big finding, the conventional wisdom of no regrets while sounding cool will diminish your life. It will not bring you to the path of greatness. What you need to do instead is embrace those regrets, learn from them. And I know what Danny's talking about. I regret that I didn't spend much time with my best friend, Matt Marks, after we graduated, for no reason at all. Life gets busy. I regret the time and the laughs that I could have had with him. And I'm here today because I learned from that regret, and I'm paying him respect, as well as David Elliott, two wonderful classmates in the graduating year of 1983. So as I close here, I want to come back to the ancient Stoics, who seem kind of boring these days. But when I was at Bexley, I took 4 years of Latin, like many of you, and I had an amazing teacher again, who's since retired, Dr. Alan Korn. And because of that lifelong experience, I've become a lifelong fan of the Stoics, particularly one, and that is the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. I've never forgotten something that I read when I was in Latin class that Dr. Korn said, read this and don't forget it. And this is what Marcus Aurelius said. Listen to this, listen. If at some point in your life you should come across anything better than justice, prudence, self-control, and courage, if you find anything better than that, embrace it without reservations. It must be an extraordinary thing indeed. These are the 4 touchstones of goodness, as Marcus Aurelius called them: courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. That's all you really need in life. They open the door to joy on your path to greatness. So to the class of 2022, you've made it through a worldwide crisis, unlike anything we've seen in 100 years. And you've arrived stronger than ever. You've been educated at one of the finest education institutions in the United States, if not the world. And you're all living at a time of the greatest resources imaginable, but also at a time of the greatest needs we've ever seen. And so once again, we say, we're counting on you, all of you. And as someone who has sat in your seat 40 years ago, in your exact seats 40 years ago, I have all the confidence that you are more than ready for your own paths to greatness. You're ready to change the world. Go forth, class of 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson, for your amazing message. And on behalf of the class of 2022, I would like to give you a Bexley-themed gift bag. A lot of cool stuff there. I would now like to introduce BHS Choir Director Amy Blosser and the amazing vocal ensemble. The vocal ensemble will perform The Road Home by Stephen Paulus and the Alma Mater. The words to the Alma Mater are printed on the back of the program.
please stand and join us in singing the alma mater? As Quinn said, the words are on the back of your program. You may be seated.
We will now begin presenting the class of 2022. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Eric Acton. Alice Leah Goutard, Certificate of Attendance. Claire Yoon McDonald, Diploma with Honors. Nicholas John Rice. Adelaide Noel Harris Zemensky. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Bryson Baugh. Sage Aurora. Omar Gonzalez Salazar. Presenting diplomas, Mrs. Amy Blosser. Andreas Christian Kitsu, Diploma with Honors. Jackson Phillips Klingelhofer, Diploma with Honors. Roshan Sivaraman, Diploma with Honors. Caroline Elise Ziegler, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Chris Bragg. Blake Richard Brenner. Noah Mackay Tylee Lyons. Isaac Yarrow McIntosh. Sean Anthony Palmer. Taran Rai, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Tom Chrysler. Brandon Ross Freitas. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Patrick Cummins. Riley Dylan Beal. Ryan Joseph Chaluta. Nicholas Philip Dutton, Diploma with Honors. Bishop Vaso Garriott, Diploma with Honors. Devin Elijah Goen. Marcita Haidari, Certificate of Attendance. Ryan Patrick Haw. Ezra Jack Lewis, Diploma with Honors. Philip James McDonald. Jacob Allen Martin, Diploma with Honors. Ethan Thomas McFiggin. Beck Schemberg Robbins, Diploma with Honors. Colin Thomas Ryan, Diploma with Honors. Elliot David Waldberger. Presenting diplomas, Mrs. Michelle Friends. Jacob Evan Current. Claire Patricia Eline. Alexander Rose Farley. Edward McAndrews Kozlik. Tess Rothert Madison. Presenting diplomas, Ms. Claudia Fugate. Samuel James Fanning. Sophia Elizabeth Guzman. Kaylee Lynette Hayden. Lillian Elizabeth Hoyer, Diploma with Honors. Alex Sir Maud Payton. Presenting diplomas, Ms. Helma Groot. Camilla Esther Borders. Lou Faye Cariello. Cooper Aiden Grandin Dennison. Molly Elizabeth Eskew, Diploma with Honors. Charlotte Marie Fosna. Maxwell William Hartman. Isabella Maria Higgins. Lena Margarita Ordonez Aguiar, Diploma with Honors. Lindia Vinay Padmore. Kiara Sarai Zamat, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Ms. Jamie Hayes. Constance Walker Andrews, Diploma with Honors. Sienna Pearl Celine Grant, Diploma with Honors. Margaret Ann Ross, Diploma with Honors. Joseph Benjamin Shapiro, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Mark Heyman. Anna Katarina Hughes, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mrs. Nikki Hoke. Kelsey Millard Kane, Diploma with Honors. Benjamin Charles Evelyn, Diploma with Honors. Erica Andrea Popa, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Dean Hoover. Christopher Aljunius Mitchell. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Scott James. Catherine Annelle Jude, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Andrew Johnson. William David Avaluto. Georgia Nancy Booth. Gwendolyn Joy Canfield. Connor Eloise Cornwell, Diploma with Honors. Mason Riley DeBerry. Dovra Eden Darrow, Diploma with Honors. Diego Leon Morales. Ryder Jonah Robbins. Noah Alexander Salmon. Reese Michael Spangler. Gabrielle Giddle Needham. Presenting diplomas, Ms. Carissa Cade. Tessa Ann Fisher. Presenting diplomas, Mr. David Cozy. Matthew Fitzgerald A-Rays, Diploma with Honors. Alexander Francis Barnes, Diploma with Honors. Audrey Ganil Balata, Diploma with Honors. Harley Marie Carroll, Diploma with Honors. Genevieve Mavis Butler Labine. Nicholas Oliver Robinson. Elizabeth Sophia Rocco. Mara Catherine Roche. Marley Ann Renee Warner. Presenting diplomas, Miss Jeanette Cooter. Hayden Mara Spector, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Jeff Landis. Nicholas Wilson Eddy. Miller Yoon McDonald, Diploma with Honors. Nicholas Allen Rankin. Owen Stiles Tipton. Ashlyn Caden Vaughn. And give us a moment as we switch sides. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Scott Logston. Bennett Rockwell Bartz, Diploma with Honors. Joseph Claiborne Bellotta, Diploma with Honors. Gillian Louise Frost, Diploma with Honors. Juliet Lee Marie Garcia, Diploma with Honors. Rachel Elizabeth Kelly, Diploma with Honors. Sally Ann Sauer. Zachary David Trebitz, Diploma with Honors. Andrew Marley Waterman, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Miss Jackie Lund. Kiara Maria Burson. Lillian Lois Jursick. Olivia Peyton Beckman, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Miss Nancy Mallory. Anna Louise Stewart. Presenting diplomas, Mrs. Melissa McCreary. Isabel Sophia Best. William Ludlow Dershan. Rosa Elaine Fertelman, Diploma with Honors. Talia Marin Khan, Diploma with Honors. Kara Suzanne Kilborn. Elena Rose Looper, Diploma with Honors. Emma Elizabeth McKee, Diploma with Honors. Madison Irene Rogers. Margaret Helen Sarr. Theo Samuel Weinstock, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mrs. Allison Nagasako. Elon David Bahar, Diploma with Honors. Priya Isabella Roy, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Mike Nolan. Tova Claire Blumenfeld, Diploma with Honors. Sydney Valentine Hoffman, Diploma with Honors. Katie Liu, Diploma with Honors. Olivia Rose Millard. Liam Andrew Timmons, Diploma with Honors. Sydney Lee Tyler, Diploma with Honors. Julia Christine Bellieta. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Jesse Paget. Calvin Thomas Brzezinski, Diploma with Honors. Colm James Dameron. Owen Flynn Gunther. Leo Robbins Markham. Kaylin Xavier Matthews. Thomas Brandt Webster. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Todd Phillips. Sarah Riley Benedict, Diploma with Honors. William Stephen Blank. Robert Henry Brandt, Diploma with Honors. Tucker Allen Harp. Zoe Sophia Harding Meislish. Asia Dawn Michaels. Rowan Bryn Moran. Samuel Keen Powers. Jacob Irving Schottenstein. Marissa Jo Smith, Diploma with Honors. Samantha Blake Topolowski. Trey Henry Volmer, Diploma with Honors. Griffin Allen Wagenbrenner. William Michael Zwick. Presenting diplomas, Mrs. Laura Resnick. Ryan Jacob Bernstein, Diploma with Honors. Caroline Tallman Collier. Teflos Tarek Galay. Isle Grossman. Joseph Chung Lin, Diploma with Honors. Cecilia Beatrix Martin. Gus Joseph Pitstick, Diploma with Honors. Ryan Gregory Sanfilippo. Erin Mary Winchell. Justin Kurtner Zodon. Presenting diplomas, Miss Rebecca Reinhardt. Lily Ann K. George. Lynn Norris McDowell, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Miss Sarah Robertson. Reagan Nicole Comstock. Presenting diplomas, Dr. Michelle Rogers. Gabrielle Ludovine Cecile Cabanas, Diploma with Honors. Quinn Edward Hall, Diploma with Honors. Ava Carol Joseph, Diploma with Honors. Allison Grace Taylor, Diploma with Honors. Isaiah Henry Wilson. Alexis Faye Yaffe. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Kerry Ryan. Joshua Charles Bahar, Diploma with Honors. Elliot Blake Goldman, Diploma with Honors. Grace Catherine Heilman, Diploma with Honors. Miriam Dorit Solov. Presenting diplomas, Miss Katie Sarvis. Ivy Lane Simpson, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Steve Shapiro. Duncan Anders Johnson. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Steven Spangler. Elijah Lee Dresbach. Eloise Alexandra Valentin. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Neil Tomich. Margaret Harvey Zyrus, Diploma with Honors. Presenting diplomas, Mrs. Kara Whitlatch. Lane Ann Dorian, Diploma with Honors. Pierce Grossman. Sebastian Lindell Handen. Presenting diplomas, Mr. Jason Wilcoxon. Louis Kaliolani Changsup Berger. Spencer Edward Eisen. Mackay Quentin Gray. Evan James Scott. Kirkwood James Williams. Presenting diplomas, Ms. Brooke Wojcik. Mia Isabel Diffley, Diploma with Honors. Madison Rose Smith. I'd like to bring Mr. Kerry Ryan back. Mr. Robert Shoremeyer, the best timing ever. Congratulations, coming directly from the tennis tournament. Robert Shoremeyer. And this concludes the presentation of diplomas. I would like to take this opportunity this Memorial Day weekend to recognize and honor those in attendance who have served or are currently serving in our armed services. If you would please stand. Thank you for your continued commitment to our country. And as we celebrate the class of 2022, the 100th graduating class from Bexley High School, I'd like to ask that if you are in the audience today and an alum, please stand at this time. Each year, we recognize those who have come before us and traveled these very same halls. Bexley is such an amazing place to live and learn, and this tradition extends from generation to generation as so many come back. I promised the graduates I would not speak long, and I'm committed to keeping this promise. To the class of 2022, I extend to you our sincerest congratulations. You are here today because you have met the graduation requirements as set forth by the Bexley City Schools Board of Education, and today, May 29th, is your day. I want to thank the many people who've worked tirelessly to make this ceremony today happen. Let me begin by recognizing the talents and efforts of an extraordinary faculty and staff. They are dedicated professionals who work incredibly hard to help each student reach their potential as learners, citizens, and leaders. Thank you to our teachers for your service and commitment to our kids, preparing them for their next steps. Students, yes. Thank you. Students, as you remember the knowledge and wisdom these educators have shared with you, please also remember the service and labor they provided you, because service and hard work are attributes and values I know you will also take with you as you leave Bexley High School. And as Quinn pointed out, a true education is not the diploma you will receive today, but the continued pursuit of knowledge these teachers have fostered in you over the last 4 years. Now, the people who made it possible for us to create this ceremony, first, I'd like to acknowledge my federal administrator, Craig McMillan. Thank you. Our administrative assistant, Brenda Ferguson, and our counselors, Claudia Fugate, Stephanie Krasnowski, David Leland, and Sarah Rabetta. I specifically would like to thank Brett Santantonio and the maintenance staff who were here very early, who went above and beyond in the setup for our very special ceremony. And a special thank you today to Senior Class Advisor Mike Nolan and his commitment to our graduates, as he not only organized today's ceremony, but has commemorated this class through photos all year. I would like to acknowledge and thank the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jason Fine, Bexley City Schools Board of Education members, President Victoria Powers, Vice President Alicia Mitchell, Dr. Jonathan Baker, Dr. Marguerite Jade, and Joanne Pickrell for their continued support of our work at Bexley High School. And I would like to thank the Bexley Education Foundation for their continued generous support of our work at Bexley High School. And finally, a very special thank you to Mr. Kyle Peterson for being here today and sharing in our ceremony. Class of 2022, our most sincere wish for each of you is for you to embrace all the new opportunities awaiting you, just as you already done during your time in the Bexley City Schools. Do not shy away from new challenges and change, all the while appreciate and celebrate your uniqueness. No one can take this away, and as Roshan pointed out, your work has just begun. You are our future, and I could not be prouder of you. It has been my honor and privilege to serve as your principal. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the turning of the tassel. This gesture symbolizes the transition from a secondary student to a high school graduate. And families and guests, we ask that you stay seated as we complete the ceremony. Once the tassels are turned, graduates and teachers will recess to the gymnasium to collect their diploma, and then will be invited to return to the stadium to celebrate with family and friends. So please, thank you again for staying seated. And seniors, as my final request of you, I ask at this time to please stand. Members of the Board of Education, staff, parents, and guests, I am proud to introduce to you the Bexley High School graduating class of 2022. Graduates, you may now move your tassel. And teachers, if you will still stand, and please recess. Bennett and Alice, you will follow the teachers. Everyone follow through.